morning, I'm Caryn Saitz and this is Taking the Leap, and I am so excited to have my special guest here this morning, Lynn Power. Lynn is the founder of the Conscious Beauty Collective. We're here in the Natick Mall. It's a pop-up that just started today. It's here through the end of December, and I have to tell you, it is a beautiful, beautiful store full of amazing founders and just great products. So I'm going to start off by asking you a little bit about the Conscious Beauty Collective, and then we can also talk about the product that you founded. So tell us about, what inspired you? What is the Conscious Beauty Collective?
Oh my gosh, I love connecting with other founders. I love supporting women. I love championing clean beauty. So all those things come together in this amazing space. So it's really all about supporting each other, supporting small businesses, supporting brands that are trying to do good for the world, good for you, good for the environment, and that's it.
So I know you came up with this idea. Can you share a little bit about how you came up with the idea? And also this started, the first one was in San Francisco. So this is actually the second.
This is the second. So this idea was born when I was going through chemo, as if I had nothing else to do, right? And reflecting back on my business, which had launched in 2020, and thinking about, where do I want to spend my time, right? I don't want to spend my time on toxic things anymore.
Right.
I want to spend my time on things that are fulfilling. And one of the best things we've done over the last 2 years has been partnering with other brands, other clean beauty brands. And so this idea was about how do we accelerate that partnerships to make a bigger statement and a bigger impact and help each other. And that's how this was born.
So what I love is that, and you come from an advertising background. I know you spent many years in the advertising industry, but the ability to actually touch, feel, smell, try all of these products for the masses. We're across from Nordstrom's or next to J. Crew. To have all of these brands that are really indie brands that, are not well known at this point across the country and across the world, but they have the opportunity to be in front of so many people, I think for me is just so exciting. And to come in here, and I know we've tried and smelled and my hands are completely covered in oils this morning, but it's really a fabulous thing and a great way to really help some of these people launch their business in a much larger audience than they're used to. So
that was the idea, is that on our own, being a small brand, it's very difficult to get mass distribution or to get that exposure and awareness. But when we are together, the impact of everybody makes it viable and makes it doable. And I think consumers like to discover new brands, that's fun for them. And these are all brands that, like I said, good for you, good for the environment. They're high performing, they work. These are really good brands, high quality, great products, so it's exciting.
When we first spoke, I said to you, so what's the difference between conscious, this is the Conscious Beauty Collective versus the Clean Beauty Collective? Is there a difference in terms of?
To me there absolutely is, and it's a good question because a lot of people do wonder, because those definitions are not clear or agreed upon, really.
Exactly.
But I think for us, conscious was bigger than clean. Clean really speaks a lot to formulations, and we do obviously want our products to be clean formulas, no sulfates, no parabens, no phthalates. But even more than that, we want the brands to be conscious, meaning value-based, sustainable, ethical, giving back. A lot of the brands support different causes. That's important, and that's what I think elevates the brands that are part of this.
So also in that realm of consciousness, one of the things that in speaking to a lot of the founders today is that, it's that full supply chain. It's not just the product or just the oil. It's the packaging, it's the design, it's how it's shipped. It's every aspect of the company and of the products. And I think, having that in mind as you create this is a very different mindset than the average company that's creating, beauty products today.
It really is, because you're thinking holistically about all those pieces, and it's hard because you don't have the scale to get the costs to the point where you can if you're a Unilever or you're a L'Oreal. So we are making the difference in our own way. But we are looking at all those things, and there are some innovative products in the collective that I think are doing really cool things. So
they're doing amazing things. So, but as a woman entrepreneur, because you've done a variety
Yes.
of things. What's the biggest challenge with this? Well, what's the biggest challenge? I mean, you've also created a product.
Yes.
And a product line, not just
My own-
one product, but show us a little bit about your own product line. And that's how you really got started in the whole conscious beauty area, correct?
Yeah, so I launched MASAMI, which is clean premium hair care, in 2020. And, obviously launching pre-pandemic, just pre, because it was
A month before. Yeah.
has been a challenge and a journey. And the challenges were not ones that I could have predicted because supply chain became challenging.
Sure.
I mean, we had...
And it still is.
Still is. Packaging has been challenging. Cost of goods has been challenging. Cash flow is challenging. I mean, there's a lot of those things as
Right.
an entrepreneur that you deal with. So the idea of okay, we can actually support each other as female founders, as entrepreneurs, and share some of that learning. And also sometimes it's just nice
And
to have-
resources also.
Oh, 100%. Or
Right.
even just having ear to vent to. Some days you're just like, you know what, I'm really tired of this.
Right.
And it's nice to have somebody who gets it.
Right.
Who's been there, who's done it. So that's a big
This
part
is
of
your
this
own
as well.
mastermind in many ways,
Yeah, it's kind of like I created this for myself.
But you know what? But that, at the end
Yeah.
of the day, is how it works. I mean, even in creating, as an entrepreneur, you're usually creating a product or a company or a service that you needed, right?
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. It comes from something that you couldn't find or something that you thought you could do better or whatever it is. So here you are.
Yeah.
And this is clearly, was it your dream? I mean, was it something that, because you worked with a lot of brands.
Yeah. Yeah, I've worked with a lot of brands over my career, but I think I've always loved working with startups, and I've always loved helping female founders. Mm-hmm. And so those things converge in this world, and I get a lot of fulfillment out of that. So I wouldn't have said it was my dream if I could have articulated my dream
Right.
a couple of years
But
ago.
as it started to come together.
But as it started to come together, I think you do what a lot of people do. You gravitate towards the things that you enjoy.
Right.
And you don't do the things you don't enjoy. And so I've just gravitated more and more to doing things like
So
this.
now when you look back, you think, oh my God, I did all this advertising for I don't know how many years.
30 years.
30
yeah.
years. I think that led, though, to where you are today. Do you think that without that, you would have had the same appreciation for this as you do today?
Absolutely not. I think I think it did lead to this because I have a really deep understanding and appreciation for brands, for creating a brand, for what it takes, for the marketing around it. And I know how difficult it is to do content creation and social media
Right.
and all that stuff. I've worked with other founders who just think, oh, it's so easy. Like you just throw
Sure.
It's like, not so much. Like,
Right.
So I think having that understanding has really helped me be realistic about launching a brand because
Right.
I know. But
And so do you look at this as also a brand? So not only do you have the hair care
Yeah.
line, but the Conscious Beauty Collective, is that sort of another brand that you feel like you're really creating? I mean, do you have a vision for it to be more than just a pop-up ultimately, or?
Well, there's so many things we could do with it, but I only have so many hours in the day. Kristen, who works with me, who's amazing. I couldn't do it without her. She only has so many hours in the day, so we don't want to be a retailer, put it that way. I'm not looking to create the next, Credo, but so to that end, we're really brand focused. We created this whole space more about the brands and the collective being the umbrella.
Right.
So it's really with that focus, which I think is what sets us apart too, because everything we do is brand led. It's not about retail margins, it's brand led. So it makes a difference.
It's actually really special to have all the founders here today.
Yeah.
And to understand their mission and what drove them and what's the impact that they want to make. Because everyone has a different story.
Exactly.
And everyone has a different mission and everyone's in this for a different reason. And generally it comes from a personal experience. But everybody has a different desire, to grow. Some want to scale, some want to stay smaller and impact a smaller market. So what do you hope all of this, what's the impact on the world that you want to make?
Well, I hope that people really understand and appreciate what conscious beauty is. And it's not just a fad, it's not just a trend, it's something that is important because it does affect our health, it does affect our environment. There's still 90% of hair care products in the US have toxic ingredients.
Wow.
So, people don't fully comprehend or realize
They don't
that,
even think about it.
what they're scrubbing into their scalp.
Right.
So I really hope people become a little more enlightened and start to live a more conscious, healthy lifestyle, because it really does make a difference.
And what's been your best product with that hair care line?
Well, our shampoo is award-winning, 3 awards. Our styling cream, though, I think is the little secret sauce product that people really love.
I think I need to try this.
Yeah, you could try some now, but it's great because it's not sticky or greasy. And I think that product is a favorite for a lot of people. I use it every day. My husband uses our product every day. So yeah, that's probably my favorite. At least.
Ah, okay. So if someone had given you a couple of ideas or words of advice, or shared something before you started on this journey that would have made it easier for you, what would that have been?
Well, I think the biggest thing would have been, don't try to be type A and control everything, because you can't. And you have to let things go. And that's hard for me because, we had a very robust business plan before COVID.
Right.
That all went out the window. So you just have to take a deep breath, not freak out. Even this space, as we told you, 3 weeks ago, we were going to be in a different location.
Right.
And they moved us, and I had a freak out moment.
But it's beautiful. You've done an amazing
we realized
job.
It's actually a better space, and we think, so things work out in the end. So just
don't sweat the small stuff.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Exactly.
Well, that's a good lesson for all of us. So, you can find the Conscious Beauty Collective at the Natick Mall. We are across from Nordstrom's, in between Peloton and J. Crew.
That's right.
And you'll be here through December 31. So if anyone is living in the suburbs of Boston, you know the Natick Mall. It's a great place to come, and it's a great store to come into. You can try, test, taste, feel, you name it, all of the different products. And Lynn and her team will be here to help you, so that's really great. And then if they want to buy your product elsewhere, where else can they find you?
Go to lovemasami.com. We're there. Go to Amazon. We're there.
Great.
So yeah, there's plenty of options.
Fantastic. So Lynn, I have to thank you because just meeting all of these founders has been so inspiring for me today. Having conversations, understanding why they started these companies, what led them to that, the impact they want to make on the world is just, it's actually mind-blowing. I'm a little overwhelmed after speaking to so many great founders, and it's actually bringing tears to my eyes because it's just great to see it, and it's great to be in the midst of so many women who are entrepreneurs. And as an entrepreneur myself, I know the challenge, I know how hard it is, and to see the passion and the energy that they bring to all of this has been just mind-blowing. So thank you. I'm excited to come in here. I live close by, and to continue to try all of these brands and meet more of the founders. So thank you so much for your time today.
I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.